Hello amazing people. I'd like to share with you a few little breathwork practices that you might find useful and supportive for your own process. I'm going to be doing these indoors just because it makes the filming and light levels and so on easier. Obviously, if you're able to, going outside to do breath practices is fantastic. If you can find a place you can walk to, if you've got access to a garden, even something like a balcony, this is a useful place to be, is outside surrounded by good clean air, which at the moment seems to be particularly clean and delicious. So to begin with, these practices allow for the fact that we are an intermeshing of what we could describe as physical, psychological, or mental and spiritual beings. Yeah, so that these are not separate ideas. So by working on, in this particular instance, our lungs, we're working on our general mental well-being. We're also making a devotional practice, one might suggest, for the benefit of ourselves and all of those others that we come into contact with. And these practices can certainly be built into a repertoire of behaviour which you can imagine as being very kind of exercise, looking after the body, looking after the immune system, or something that has a kind of a very spiritual sort of dimension to it. So most of the practices I'm going to share today and in days going forward are ones that I picked up from Tai Chi and yoga and Qigong. I'm by no means a specialist practitioner in those areas, but I've been very fortunate to be taught by some really great people, and I hope very much I'll be able to convey some of the teachings that they've given me and the discoveries that I've made through this series of short films. So to begin with, find yourself a good place to be, ideally, as I've said, with access to clean, clear air, and just start with a little bit of a shake. Just a bit of a shake of the arms and the head, the body, really sort of move the body around. We are essentially, as human beings, we're a set of tubes of various diameters, and so opening, shaking, releasing, letting those things flow well is a lot of what we want to be able to achieve. So the basic stance for these practices are going to be feet shoulder width apart, knees slightly bent, a kind of Tai Chi stance, so we're very aware of the weight pouring down through the middle of the foot, and the knees there just slightly bent, tailbone slightly tucked in as though we were about to sit down. And we want the shoulders to be nice and relaxed, nice and fluid. The head is just resting on top of the spine, chin is maybe slightly tucked in. We're in that kind of nice, open kind of posture. So just spend a few moments just kind of feeling into that, so you feel comfortable and you feel that you're standing in a way that's good, that suits you. So what we're going to do is we're going to be breathing in and breathing out. And as we're going to breathe in, we're going to take our attention to one of the acupuncture points here, rather near the snuff box, as it's sometimes called, near the wrist. And we're going to use that point, being attentive to that point, we're going to bring the arms up as the breath expands. And as the breath reaches its top, fullest extent, we're going to drop the hands down, bringing our attention to the palm of the hand now. So as the diaphragm drops, belly softens, open up, and then let that empty. So breathing in, opening all the way to the top, and letting it just drop out. What we're trying to do in this practice is cultivate an awareness of the breath coming in very, very easily, So when I was a kid growing up, I kind of had the idea in my head, and I think my culture kind of told me that breathing in was something where you sort of force the breath into the body, sharp intake of breath, which, you know, sometimes happens. But in a lot of bodywork practice, breathing in is about dilating, it's about opening, it's about relaxing. Yeah, so we take the breath in by just relaxing. Diaphragm comes down, belly softens, and the breath naturally pours in to the lungs as they open, just as a consequence of the atmospheric pressure. That's the idea. So breathing in is relaxing. The relaxing pushes the diaphragm down, softens the belly, opens the chest. In the end, the hands kind of come up to such an extent that we can feel through the fascia, through the connective tissues in the body, how the lungs are pushing right the way in, so we can almost feel them in the shoulders. So they're completely full. And the mouth, just a little gentle smile, nice and easy, creating that good feeling, well-being in our bodies. Stay with that a few more times. A little shake. Just to open the body up. We're now in the same kind of stance, and going to reach up with one arm, nice and high, breathing in, and then breathing out, relaxing and letting that arm float up. And breathing in, arms coming over, breathing out. Just staying in that for a few breaths. And looking up. Breathing in. Breathing out, letting go. So quite a deep stretch, depending on how long you want to stay in those arched over sections for, and how many breaths. Feeling the difference between the different sides of the body now. And same, breathing in. Relaxing into the stretch. Breathing out, breathing in. Looking forward. Looking up. Breathing in. And letting the hands come down. And again, just feeling how that feels in the body. Now this is an exercise which appears in my book Getting Higher, described as the hawk breath. There's various versions of it and it can be done in lots of different ways, but this is with feet shoulder width apart, knees slightly bent, tailbone tucked under, head is nice and balanced, soft shoulders, soft and easy. And this is a very good one to do outside because we're going to be breathing in. Big open lungs, and as the hands come together you can bring them down and you can maybe take your focus to the sky or to the sun, to the moon, to the leaf on a tree, the blossom. Or just feel that as you're breathing out, making a space for that good feeling, that good energy, however you want to conceptualize that, coming into the body. And then as that good energy kind of rests there in the belly, in the center, used very much in Tai Chi and in Qigong, the literal root from which we grow inside our mothers. Bringing whatever that good feeling is down, that good air. As we're breathing out, we're making a space for it to come down into the belly. And as we breathe in again, we radiate that through the body. Breathing out, making a space for this thing to come in, dwelling in the belly. Breathing in. Breathing out, making that space, breathing in, making that space, and you can practice taking the hands down straight. Let them fall in more of a curve. Feel how your body wants to move. It's important to learn technique, and it's also important to listen to your own body and its wisdom and how it feels good to move, good in a really full, rounded kind of sense. A few more. Maybe we can do this slight bend in the knees, just as the whole body is moving, trying to feel the whole body moving. And then again, because we're a tube, it's good to do a bit of tapping. Just a little bit of gentle percussion, waking the body up. Taking any of those obstructions away. And then just taking a few moments just to do a little offering of 5 breaths. Into the situation and into the time that you're in, that we're in, these 5 good breaths in honour of all of those people who are working to help find good ways through this time, and in honour of our ability to likewise find good ways through this time with this good breath and this good air For my kin and my kind, I will offer these 5 breaths. Thank you very much for your practice. Stay well, stay high.